Welcome to the Key to Growth podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you are in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success starting now. All right. Welcome back to the Key to Growth podcast. I'm Jen McKee, your host, and I'm here today with Josh Roberts, which I'm super excited to talk to because he's got a lot of really, really great things going on, and he's probably not been on a lot of podcasts talking about it. So I feel like we've got an exclusive interview here with Josh. Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Josh. I own an air conditioning only. Well, we do air conditioning and duct cleaning in the east coast of Florida, Vero Beach. It's a smaller town. We're about 6 million. We've been in business for 9 years this year, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so as you know, in this podcast, I like to talk about, where you started to where you are now and what type of impact marketing made and what you were doing. So, okay, when you started 9 years ago, how did you get your first customers? Tell us how that.
It was kind of by luck. I actually did my own Facebook ad for a $15 tune-up, and
Nice.
I got like 15 or 20 customers from it, but a couple of them ended up having, like, one of them in particular had like 80 properties, and another one owned a real estate company. So it just kind of picked up from there. It was like, even though it was not the greatest ad, it worked really well that one time.
So, what year was that about?
2015.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we know the ad landscape has changed so much. And I love that that was luck, but it also wasn't because it's not like you were just sitting waiting for someone to come to you. So it ended up.
Yeah, I knew really quick that I had to do something because I left my job and the phone wasn't ringing. I thought, everyone will know I left my job and they'll just start calling. So
Yeah.
after about a week of no calls, I was like, I better figure this out, and I got to do something to let them know that I'm out around here.
Yeah. Okay. So were you already in the community? Is this like your community that you grew up in?
Yeah, so that's kind of, I think, why I thought that it was going to be a lot more popular than it was. Because I was born and raised here, so like all my friends and family knew. But you know how that goes. They're more looking out for how much you can do for them for
Right.
possible. So it doesn't help too much, but they do help with referrals.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you definitely invested in those ads. This wasn't just like a free thing, but okay, at what level did you make like the biggest marketing investment? And what was that?
I think it was when we were trying to go past 1 million. I was still like in and out of advertising, like doing it only when we needed to, or just trying this here and there, or maybe let's just try this one thing, constantly just dipping my toe in the water. And I think once I realized I needed to be a lot more consistent to get past 1 million, not just, throw an ad out there randomly when we're like, oh, where's all the calls at? It's too late. So I think once I realized I got to be doing this, pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
For consistency, that's when we started seeing like a lot faster growth, predictable growth.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about your brand. So you guys have a really strong brand that you've invested in. What was the inspiration behind it?
So I had tried to build my own brand, and Dan said I did a pretty good job. It's a Kick Charge brand now for a DIY situation.
Y'all didn't change it, right? Like it was still the doc.
Yeah, it was still Air Docs. It was just a lot longer name. It was Air Docs of the Treasure Coast. And shortly after I made that name, I regretted it just because it was so long and hard to remember. So I always wanted to use Dan. It was just kind of out of my price range in the beginning. And I used to have an appliance repair company too. So I started that one with the Kick Charge brand. I ended up selling that last year, the year before. And so I really wanted to do it with the air conditioning company. So we did. It's been about 1.5 years now. That has helped a lot because it is, my other brand was pretty good, but this one just sticks better to the right type of people, not necessarily to everyone.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So you came up with AirDoc. See, I feel like you have a little bit of a marketing brain, which not everybody does. And so that's kind of an advantage. Like you kind of see opportunities because AirDocs, I mean, what even made you think of that? Do you know?
Well, to be honest, it was, I had another name in mind. I don't even remember what it was. And then when I looked it up, it was already taken. And so I had to kind of scramble to come up with a name. And that's how I came up with it. It really was within 10, 15 minutes.
That works. It worked out for you. So if somebody's thinking about when to invest in
And obviously when you go to Dan or you go to somebody, like they'll help you with this, but you said like you started one of your companies with a kick charge brand and then this one you invested in later. So what made you decide that it was like time to do that? I think some people get worried. I know one of my clients is like recently was saying, like there's all these things that could be really great that I want to do. And I don't know. And like his concern with new branding is all of the investment that goes along with it, not just what you're paying to kick charge, but rebranding everything else that you own.
Yeah, and that's real. Like, so kick charge, yeah, that's the least expensive part of it. So, but tying that like a good solid brand with the community events, because as soon as we got the new brand, we were always doing community stuff, just not at that level. So we just anything community, we were doing air shows, anything, Christmas parades, every single thing they offer, we would do just so they couldn't escape the brand locally.
Okay, I definitely want to talk about community because I know that you guys do a lot of different things. So when you started, were you doing community events?
We were only doing home shows. So we were doing 2 home shows a year because it worked really well. And then I never really tried anything else. It was hard when we were smaller because I was still running calls. So
Yeah.
unless it paid off instantly, I was like, this doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. But so do you think it worked?
Oh, yeah. Like our home shows are the best advertising channel we have. They're only 2 days long, but for those 2 days, we'll usually generate about 120 to 140,000.
So what are you doing to measure that ROI? How do you know?
Because we book the appointments right then and there at the home show and schedule them. So it's already tagged with that home show. But we're doing a home show special for tune-ups or a home show special for an installation. So it gets us in a lot of doors.
Yeah. So this year or in 2024, how many community events did you guys do or how many partnerships did you guys do?
We have, you mean by partnerships like a referral network?
No, I'm thinking more of maybe not partnerships. That's not a good word, but I know you guys were doing give backs to different organizations.
Yeah. So we were doing some charity stuff where, the community kind of voted on who they thought deserved it because we wanted it to be not so much who I want to donate to, but what was important to the community to donate to. So, and that gained a lot of traction. People shared it a lot because, they want to support their nonprofit, their local nonprofit.
So you guys were doing that monthly?
Yeah, we were doing it once a month, and it did create a lot of traction because obviously everyone that supports them is going to support anyone that's supporting them.
Yeah.
It did get quite a bit of traction.
That's cool. And then y'all are still doing home shows and you're still doing community events, even at where you're at now.
Yeah, we did slow down a little bit because we did every single one after the rebrand, like Clam Bake Festival, you name it, we did it. So this time, after doing every single one last year, we said, let's do like 80% of them, the ones that like make sense, because some of them, like car shows and stuff, we didn't get many people at the booth.
Mm-hmm.
So, those we kind of dropped off, like the local car shows and things like that.
Are you giving stuff away?
Yeah, we'll give away a couple tune-ups or a couple memberships. We do system giveaways, not at the events, but throughout the year. We'll do a couple system giveaways. We do 2 this year, and we're starting our 3rd.
Yeah. Okay. So do you give away swag, and what is it?
Yeah, so we give away chip clips, koozies, because we're in Florida. Everyone takes the boat out.
Yeah.
We give away like the reusable grocery bags because we're putting all of our coupons and specials from the home show in that, and all the swag, the AirDocs pins. There's all kinds of stuff that we switch it up kind of like every year. We'll get new swag for people.
I feel like you need to find something that's like doctor related.
I've been trying so hard because I've seen plumbers that have a plunger they give out.
Okay.
That's always going to sit right next to the toilet in their house. So like,
yeah,
I have that would be like that. Then
I know, because like an air filter you would throw away and then it could get damaged, like even leaving, I don't know, a magnet. That's kind of boring, but
yeah, we do magnets. Those come with the bags and everything.
Yeah.
Have a little like kitchen cooking conversion chart on it. So
Mhm.
they have to keep it in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's cool. So you guys did giveaway earlier this year. I know you're about to start another one, but it was super successful. And it was something that I shared with a lot of my clients. And I think, and everybody kind of had a different level of success than you did. And I think one of the reasons it was so successful for you guys was because you were also putting it on the radio. Is that right?
Yeah. So we put it everywhere that we were advertising. I kind of shifted it even on our Facebook ads. So I had to spend a little bit of money to do it, but it wasn't just organically pushing it. We were on 3 radio stations. We're doing it organically on social, and we had a little bit of our ad spend from social pushing it. So we had.
So tell us what it was.
It was a oldest unit contest, and we had, I think, a little over 300 entries from units over 10 years old in a 60-day time frame.
But you also there was more to it. So everybody who entered it.
Oh, got a free tune-up. That way we could verify the age, because honestly, we did find some people that were saying it was older than it was.
Yeah.
So they could win. So I feel like that's necessary just to, make sure everyone's being honest.
Yeah. And so then you were also able to find any other opportunities in that case. And you were also like calling out your person that would need a new unit. So it was such a great, obviously a really great idea.
Oh, you mean like the person that ended up winning the system?
No, you're like, that's somebody with a new unit doesn't need a new one. So when you're asking for who has the oldest, then like essentially those are mostly people who probably do need to invest in a new one at some point soon.
Yeah. And what are we all looking for? Appointments that are over 10 years old, because we want to sell equipment. And how do we go after just so it's really, thinking of ways to attract exactly what we're after.
So did you do anything with those leads now? Like, do you guys have them in an email campaign that you're still nurturing them?
So we signed most of them up for our membership. So
Mhm.
we do include a visit in that. So we will be going back out to about 80% of those ended up signing up for a membership.
And so I've seen you talk to people, like obviously at this time of year, well, maybe not obviously, but we're here in November. And you're in Florida, you guys have pretty mild weather this time of year, but there's some owners who are like, oh, we're so slow. What do we do? And I've seen you and I've seen some other people like you're asking this question at the wrong time. And so I think you mentioned that your membership is a big part of that, but how do you, you can throw tons of money at marketing, but like if it's still going to be harder at this time of year than other years. So how do you keep yourself busy right now?
So I'm thinking about our slow season starts about right now and goes through February to March, depending on the winter. So I'm starting to think about my slow season in May, about 6 months ahead of time, because I need to really focus. And we're doing membership contests with the team, really focusing on those, because I know whatever I'm selling now, we're going back to in 6 months. So that's setting those appointments for when we're slow 6 months in advance, so then we can I'll usually do that. I know January, we're going to be, it's 60 degrees if we're lucky in Florida.
Mhm.
So not a lot of people are thinking about air conditioning, but they'll get their maintenance done. So we can fill our board if we have to. I don't need one service call to come in, and we can run calls for 16 weeks.
That's awesome.
We're good at converting maintenances. We get about $630 per visit on average across the board. So it's not like we're losing money going out there. I think that's the fear, is like, oh, I don't want those appointments because there's no money in them. But
yeah.
there isn't if you're going out there and just maintaining it and not being thorough and checking everything.
Yeah. And that's really a big thing with ads that we find when we're running ads for people and they don't want to lose money, but there's a whole nother side to that. This is just an opportunity. And then if you can't, or if there isn't something that they're going to need right then the membership and keeping them in your marketing funnel can help you mitigate that in the long run also.
No, that's a great point, because we have, we use Go High Level for some of the lead funnels, and we get quite a bit of people that, you would have kind of written off as, this person's a dead lead, but then they come back and buy 6-7 months later. And they're like, hey, is this quote still good? Maybe not. They're ready to buy right now.
Yeah. I got a quote from an electrician like 9 months ago that I still think about. Like, I haven't gotten the work done, so like at some point I'm going to have to get it done.
It's going to take that one day where something's not working and you get the text at the same time,
Right. Yeah. And no matter what, marketing can be a long game. There's some people who are ready to buy right now and some people who aren't, and you're marketing to all of them. I've already told this story on the podcast, but when I purchased my HVAC, which I did this summer, like a whole new one, because like everything was a different age and whatever, I'm like, fine, just give me a new one. I'll pay for it monthly for the rest of my life. It'll be fine. But the company that we went with, I've seen their marketing for the last 10 years. Like, that's why I was like, this is the company I'm going to choose. And as a marketing person, I know that, but like, that's how people make decisions. You see the same names over and over again, their billboards and their sponsorships and all of the things. And then when you actually do need them, you're like, all right, well, that's who I see the most. And that's whose marketing stands out to me. And so
they almost have to mess it up at that point, because you've kind of subconsciously chosen them without doing it yet.
Yeah.
They mess up that call or something goes wrong, it's almost like you're ready to buy. In my experience, when we get those branded calls, they're a lot easier to convert than just, someone that's randomly calling you.
100%. That works for me too. Like, someone comes to me because they're referred to me, then they're going to be a lot easier to sell. And I don't like convincing people like why they should do what I do. With you guys, it might be a little bit different, but yeah, branded calls make a huge difference because you already trust the person. You already know, like, I trust you, you're fine. And my husband always says we we had them out this last week because they installed our furnace, but like it had never been run. And so now it's getting cold in the mornings and we're having to turn it on. So they had to come adjust something. I just love when they come out. Like they're so nice and they're so great. Like I swear they cannot mess up at this point. They've already like, we trust them. So it's good. Okay. So when did you decide to start investing in social media? Because you actually, when you started working with us, you were already invested in ads and social media ads, which it sounds like you've done since the beginning of your company.
Yeah, we were doing it on and off in the beginning. It's kind of where we started. I was late to the game with Google ads. Like we were organically doing okay on Google, but I didn't start spending money on Google until LSA came out. And so we really held off there and mostly focused on Facebook and really just Facebook in the beginning.
Yeah. And so you were handling it?
Yeah, I was doing it all. It really wasn't good, but I was learning as I was going. Some stuff worked, most of it didn't. But
That's so funny.
I enjoyed it. It interested me, like how, I think this ad's going to do great. And then it doesn't do anything. And the one that, I didn't think was going to do too good does the best.
Okay. So tell me about y'all's lead follow-up, because that's another thing that people really struggle with in Facebook ads. And they're like, it's not working. It's not working. And it's like, it's not the ad, like the leads are coming in. There's so much more to it.
Yeah, I think the key because I hear that so much with people that try Facebook short term or up front, they're like, oh, it's not working. It's not working. They want to blame the marketing company, but they have the lead funnel. They have the leads coming in. And I'm like, all right, well, what's the booking rate? Because if you're getting the leads, but you're not booking them, whose fault is that?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've had that rude awakening a few times where we're like, oh, this marketing company is no good, but we're, booking the calls at 12 or booking the text messages at 12% booking rate. That's our fault, not theirs,
Mm-hmm.
So dedicating someone to it really helps. So that way, that's all they do all day long. Now we book anywhere from 30 to 40% of those leads that come in. So, almost triple just by, saying, hey, let's put a dedicated person here. So we never miss. We're always the fastest we're just replying super fast. There's no time. They can book the appointment right now. And speed to lead, like before we even text them back, as soon as that text comes in, we're going to call them first.
Really?
Even though they want to text, just in case, we're going to try to call.
That's so funny. You're like, oh no, they're calling me.
If they don't answer, then we'll start texting, but it works. We get a little bit better booking rate by doing that.
That's so interesting. That's a good trick, really, just because it like will jar you so much that, like you text somebody and then they call you and you're like, why are they calling me right now?
It works. I mean, it definitely increased it because we were like a good month for us was like 22% booking. And then once we started doing that, we started getting above 30.
Yeah. It also sounds though that you have a really good handle on your data for your marketing, which is probably another reason it's successful.
Yeah, that is probably, I don't know, I don't want to say the most important piece, but it's definitely a huge part because without it, you don't really know. You're flying blind.
Right.
Is it not?
How do you measure your organic? I mean, we do organic. Organic has a very hard to measure ROI, but it's important, right? So it's like, how do you measure that?
So we have, I think, 87 tracking numbers, and there's a different number on everything. So that way, that's the only way I found to track it. We use Searchlight to, determine where it's coming from, how much it generated, how much we spent.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped us. That's helped us a lot. Like one, it takes hours out of my day to do it manually, all the math, but that has.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So we talked a little bit about radio and I'm interested in that because I know a couple people using radio and seeing a lot of success with it, but it sounds like everyone's even doing it a little bit differently. So if you guys are on 3 different radio stations, are you doing commercials? Are you doing like partnerships with DJs or like how are you guys using it?
So we've been doing commercials for a long time. I think like 7 years is probably our second source of marketing we started trying. We're on 3 radio stations and a talk show seasonally. The talk show is not year round. And then we do, we're on a Christian station and we also, on top of being on it year round, we do their holiday sponsorship. So we're their main sponsor for Christmas and stuff too.
That's cool. So do they have you come on sometimes?
They've asked me to, and honestly, I haven't done it yet, but
that's why I was surprised you came on here. You should.
I know. I'm actually about to do it now because she called me last week to do it again. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Good. That's great. Yeah, that's really cool. And so how did you get involved in radio? Was it just like how did you find the stations or how did that look? What did that look like?
So I just kind of went with the local station. We're in a smaller town, so there was only like one local station. So I kind of just called them up and, went with that one radio station that I knew that a lot of people listened to. There's really no like deep thought process in it. It's just something local that I knew a lot of
That's the
people.
thing. It's easy. Sometimes we can get so in our own ways about like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, how am I going to get on the radio? I don't know. Just call them. Like,
Yeah, and it
see
was
what they
more
say.
affordable than I thought. And that was one of those things that is hard to track. And I won't lie, I did cancel it because I was like, this is a waste of money after like a year. Well, what I realized is you can track it kind of. So I canceled it and then I watched my GMB traffic daily and it started diving. So I knew right
Interesting.
away, like, okay, I can't really track the dollars, but I can see the traffic coming to GMB. So as soon
Yeah.
as I turned it off, it dived. And then when I turned it back on, it increased. So it
Did
was,
they, and they let you come back on after you dumped them?
yeah, I had to, bang a little bit, but it worked.
Yeah, you're like, "No, I do, I need you." I think radio is good, like, and the company that we went with has had radio ads forever, so, like, that's the thing that stays in my head, and I think they have worked with Wizard of Ads for a long time, and so their radio ads are like earbuds, so you always remember them.
That's our problem is I mean, they're not bad or anything, but they're not Wizard of Ads quality. I mean, that's something that we are interested in the
Can
future.
you imagine the difference you're gonna see? That's gonna be cool.
I thought about it. That's something I've been debating on for like a year and I haven't pulled the trigger. But yeah, because we do a good amount of radio, I think it would be a good next move for us.
Yeah, I love and every approach they take with everyone is so different, but I love to see it. And they have a really cool process where it's like very authentic to your brand and you, and that makes it really cool. Like it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
just completely different from everything else you're used to hearing on the radio. It's like
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
salesy, I guess. So you actually listen to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I feel like they have like magic in it. I was talking to one of the account managers and she was like, "You need to come. There's like a school." And she's like, "You need to come to the school so you can really see it. Like it sounds like Harry Potter, like, something magical." It's probably not. There's probably a lot more to it, but it feels like magic, I think. Okay, so when you're looking ahead at your goals that you have now, how do you see marketing and social media and everything that you're doing contributing to that? And like what moves are you thinking about making? Like obviously Wizard of Ads is one of them.
Yeah,
What
so
else?
we've always been pretty heavy on social. We did kind of shift a lot of the budget to Google, a few years ago. So one thing we've noticed is we used to do really well on LSA. For some reason, like the last year and a half, it hasn't been too great. So that's when I really started shifting to social, like focusing on it. I think I reached out to you shortly after that because
Yeah.
you're the one for that. So I reached out to you because I was like, we got to get we're losing 90 leads. That's 90 leads a month we were losing. So I had to get them from somewhere. So with social, it picked it right up. So I think we already did our budget for next year. Over half of that's going between all of the different social channels.
Dang.
Just
What
because
else are y'all looking at? So we do like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, a little bit of YouTube. I know you guys have Facebook ads. Are you looking at like long form YouTube or
a little bit of everything,
TV?
even adding some LinkedIn in there, just
Yeah.
a little bit more ideal clients in there. I feel like that we haven't done it yet, but yeah, just more spend per month on what's been working pretty much.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I don't know what your ads team is doing, but one other thing that you can add that we do for some people is like a middle level. So like it's not lead generation and it's not organic, but it's like just getting in front of the zip codes that you're trying to reach on Meta and Instagram by spending low dollar, like $5 to $20 a day, just to like be another billboard for you. So and in targeted audience. What about TV?
We've never done TV. That's something I probably wouldn't do till I had someone like Wizard of Ads helping me, just because
Yeah.
that's not my specialty. So I want to do it. I just need a little bit more guidance on that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the key to your marketing success?
I would say hiring the right people because none of us, especially owners, don't have time to look at every single marketing channel all the time and figure out how to master each channel. So, who's the master of every channel? Hire them, use them, have conversations as much as possible.
Yeah.
And they'll teach you. I mean, by conversation, you start learning. It helps you with the tracking. And then ultimately, it just helps you overall. You're going to see that on the return. And working with each marketing company, that way you guys are on the same page. They understand your business, what you want out there. That makes a big difference. You can't just hire someone and never talk to them.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to do that. Okay. Awesome. So, I do see you have a lot of knowledge. So, you can always find Josh in Facebook groups kind of answering questions sometimes. But if somebody wanted to find you guys or even find Air Docs, where is it the best place for them to look at what you're doing in marketing?
Probably Facebook. What do you think? You do our
I
social.
know. Yes. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Josh is also on Facebook. You guys have a website. What is the website handle?
The URL,
Yeah.
airdocksac.com.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight. This was really helpful. And I think one other thing that is the key to your marketing success is tracking. And you said Searchlight. I've heard a lot about Searchlight and what it offers for being able to track all of your leads and where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So I would add that too.
I think we didn't really start getting great results until we knew what the money was doing, like how much we're making off this. Before that, it was kind of like, hey, put money there, let's see what happens.
And then it feels good.
Sometimes it feels real bad.
Yeah, go off a feeling. All right. Well, thanks, Josh. I appreciate you joining me today.
No problem. Thanks.
All right. Bye.